Per capita GDP in Mississippi overtook the UK.
Ontario inhabitants are now poorer per capita than inhabitants of Mississippi, and that's the poorest American state.
That is exactly what Europe's economy, GDP, is still where it was in 2009.
My favorite statistic right now is that if the UK, France, or Germany joined the United States as the 51st state, it would become the poorest state in the Union, poorer than even Mississippi. Send this here a European to remind them who the real hillbillies are.
Though it is tempting to use GDP per capita as an all-encompassing measurement of prosperity, it doesn't tell us the full story. For instance, though GDP per capita is an indirect measure of average income, it doesn't necessarily mean that the typical person in that economy earns this amount. In US states like Mississippi, GDP per capita tends to be much higher than the average income because of the tremendous value generated by their capital-intensive manufacturing, finance, insurance, and real estate industries. GDP per capita here is $53,872, but the per capita income is just $30,529. We do not see that same discrepancy in Germany, where the GDP per capita is $54,343, and the average income per person is adjusted to $54,718. The other big issue with GDP per capita is that it's often used as a kind of metric for measuring wealth. But again, that's also not entirely accurate. Consider two people with equal salaries, but one has $1 million in the bank and is adding to it, while the other has just $6,000 in the bank and is spending more than he or she earns. Nations, too, can overspend from savings and rack up enormous debt, but GDP tells us nothing about the size of the stock they have to draw from or their debt obligations. It merely measures the income flow. So the US, for reference, has staggering national debt of $106,110 per person. Germany, in contrast, was just €30,930 per person.